All right, folks, so here we are in ArcGIS. We've got our counties data layer, and now we're going to go import our Excel file. So what we do is go up here to add data, click add data, and then click on data. Opens up, and we're going to look in our folder for our project where we saved our crime data inside our project folder. So look in here. And I saved it as crime import, and then it's XLSX, which is an Excel file. So I'm going to just click on that to import it. And then, oh, I think it's going to ask me which of the several sheets do I want to import. Here we go. Okay, so what I want to import is sheet 3. That's the one we were working on. So click on sheet 3 to indicate that that's the one we want. And here it is added to our table of contents. Now, before I do anything with that data set, I need to make sure it imported correctly. So I'm going to right click on it, click open, and see what we have here. All right, it looks very similar to our table in Excel. We've got some study number, edition, and then we've got our FIPS codes, FIPS state and FIPS city, and then we've got all of our crime numbers over here. So right clicking here on one of the column names, I want to make sure that FIPS state and FIPS city imported as text fields, and they did. So if you kind of hover over the column name, you can see the field type. Now the field type means, does the computer interpret this as a number or as a text, or what does it interpret it as? So if you hover over some of these other ones, you'll see the type says double, for example. One with a decimal place says double, all of these say double. All right. So that basically means it's interpreted as a number, a long number with a possibility of a decimal place in it. Not necessarily a whole number, but these ones have been selected to text, which is what we want. All right, so that is great. What we want to do is we want to join these code names based on the state and the county with our USA counties data set. So if you take a look at it, attribute table for this counties, you can see that the attributes in here are county name, state name, FIPS, population per square mile, and shape. We have a problem though. Our FIPS code, this federal ID code, is different in here than it is in our table, right? In here, it's split into 2 numbers, and some of them only have 1 digit. And in here, all of the numbers have 5 digits. And so the computer, what we want when we do a join is we want the computer to be able to exactly match up that column from one table with the column from the other table. So what we are going to do is to create a new column in our crime data. And this new column is going to have this state FIPS and county FIPS in it. And we're going to combine them, and we're going to combine them, and then we're going to make sure that they have the right number of zeros. Okay, so if you look at our states, US counties here, okay, so this 5-digit code number, the first 2 digits are indicating which state it's in. Okay, so it's what, between 1 and 50. So like Alaska is state number 2. So you see 02, that indicates the state of Alaska. Then the other 3 numbers indicate the number of the county that it's in. So that's what we need to recreate in this table here. So what we're going to do first is we are going to create some new new columns, and that way we can calculate those new columns, correct them, and then combine the columns together to make, instead of a 2-digit number and a 3-digit number, a 5-digit number. I will show you that in just a second here. So in this case, one of the things that it's not allowing us to do currently is to add a field, and that's what we really need to do in order to correct these codes. And so what we need to do actually is import this into our geodatabase, or save this as an independent file. So we're going to right click on sheet 3, click data, export table, and we're going to export it into our geodatabase, which is usually where we save most of our project data files in ArcGIS. So the input rows, the things that we're starting with, is sheet 3. The output location is the project, and then GDB, which is the geodatabase. So that's where we're going to save our file. And then output name is, we're going to call this crime table. That's going to be the name of the file. It's going to be inside our city's crime geodatabase. All of this is changes you can make in terms of which fields you want to save versus not save, etc., etc. But we're just going to leave it as the default and run this tool. Okay, so now we're going to close our tool here. And you will see now we have 2 standalone tables. We've got the one we have currently open, which is sheet 3. And then we have this new one, which is called crime table, which has been added to our project. So we're going to right click on that and click open to open it. Give it a second to load. And now you will notice that we are allowed to add or calculate fields if we want to. So that is what we are going to do. We're going to click add a field. And here we have the field types. Here we have the name of the field, the alias, which is just the sort of a different code name. You could make it a longer name or something. So in this case, we're going to call this FIPS, because that's what we want. Yeah, okay, no, we're not going to call this FIPS. We'll call this, the current fields we have is FIPS state and FIPS county. So we're going to call this FIPS state 2, because we're going to make a copy of our FIPS state table. It's going, or field, it's going to be not a long type field, because that's a number type. We're going to click in here and click the field types. What we want is long and short are integer numbers. Float and double are numbers with decimal places in them. Then we got date, text. You don't have to worry too much about blob and gid, but what we want is a text field. Okay, and then we are going to say we want the length to be around 10 characters. If you set the length to the default 255, then it's going to take up more space on your computer than you need. Okay, so now we're going to click here again to add a new field. We're going to call this FIPS underscore county 2. And again, we're going to change the type to text and change the length to around 10. We know the numbers are less than 10 digits long. So this is the length, the number of digits in our number. And then we're going to make another field, which we're going to call just FIPS, straight up FIPS. So one more, add another field, FIPS. Change the type to, by double clicking, to text, and change the length to no more than about 10. Okay, so now we have our new fields that we want. To save these new fields so that we can put things in them, we are going to click here at the top here and click Save. So that's going to apply these changes, save these new fields, and when you close this and go back to our table, you scroll all the way to the right, you will see our new fields. Phipps State 2, Phipps County 2, and Phipps. And they have no values in them because we haven't told the computer yet what values should be in there. So next video, I'm going to show you guys how to calculate these fields and put in the correct numbers in them.